It's Monday, June 12th, 2023, and this is episode 285 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Mike, did you think of any other Biloxi stories that you forgot last time? I know in the last episode you thought, I'm going to think. Did you think of anything else?
No.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything else either. I'm sure maybe we'll think of things down the road, but I just wanted to give you a chance to say something if it's been eating at you.
Away at
me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, nothing eating. I'm just excited for a bunch of voicemails.
Okay, well, good, because that's what we've got. We've got a bunch of voicemails, and it's just going to be a voicemail episode, which I'm sure Adam Bauer is just thrilled about. He said we phone in our shows, which doesn't make any sense, right? It's the listeners who are phoning in, right, with good information. See,
I haven't used the telephone in a long time.
To actually talk to somebody. Yeah. We use our phones all the time, just not generally to speak to people.
Well, that's right.
That's crazy. Even you, Dr. Mike, what do you know?
Yeah, even me. Yeah.
All right.
There's someone worse than me in this universe, and his name's Adam. Oh.
All right.
Oh, you know, I was going to mention, I was thinking yesterday as we were driving that somewhere in the multiverse, there's a Dr. Mike who doesn't like craps.
Oh, wow.
Think about that for a minute.
Boy, that blows my mind. Somewhere in the multiverse, there's a Dr. Mike who knows how to run a computer.
Yeah. And somewhere in the multiverse, there's a Mark Duvall who's just a crazy gambler, man. Cares nothing about the odds.
Yeah.
Plays only the field.
Completely irrational Mark Duvall in the multiverse.
Yeah.
That's too much
Think about that for a while, people.
Do you see the new Spider-Man?
No, I didn't see it yet.
It's very good. Yeah. All right, let's jump in. Voicemails. First up is Jeremy.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Jeremy from Utah, your official, unofficial correspondent, unpaid gambling expert. And I wanted to weigh in on a topic from your most recent show, and that was regarding odds and whether or not taking odds is a smart bet or not taking odds is a dumb bet that your caller called in regarding. And Mark, you got on quite a soapbox about this, and deservedly so, that taking odds will have no effect on your outcomes in the long run. And I want to 100% agree with you there, that whether or not you take odds or don't take odds or take full odds or take single odds, in the long run, that will have an absolutely zero effect on your outcome. However, I did want to push back maybe just a little bit and maybe defend that dealer just a shade on what they were saying. And that is that for any given roll, odds should always be your first bet. So in other words, before you take center action or buy bets or lay bets or hard weight, you should always take odds first. And that is simply because odds, of course, have no house edge, and all those other bets have a house edge. And it may not be high, but it's probably 3 to 11% depending on the bet. And 3 to 11% is, of course, much higher than zero. So if you're a player that wants to have $300 out on the layout at any given time during a roll, full odds should always be your first bet. And then decide what you want to do from there. Maybe what that dealer was saying is that if somebody's going to bet 270 across on the numbers, but no odds, then in that case, that no odds is a bad bet because they should maximize their odds first. And again, play how you want to play to your bankroll, play what's fun. But if you want to mathematically reduce the house edge as much as possible, then full odds should always be your first bet on any come, don't come, pass, don't pass, and then do whatever you want after that. So that's my 2 cents on odds and the importance of odds or not importance of odds. So take it for what it's worth. Hope you guys are doing good. Love the show. Hope you guys have a great trip, and we will talk to you soon. Adios.
Okay, so Jeremy, we see what you're getting at. We know where you're coming from, but again, variance is still a huge issue. So let's use 100 times odds as an example, just because it's an extreme and it kind of is easy to make our point here. Let's say you bought in for $500, right? And you make a $5 pass line bet. And the number's 4, comes out on 4, points now 4. So if you put all the rest of your money, you've only bought in for 500, so put $495 in odds, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. 7 out and you're out of money. Whereas, you could have just gone, say, $27 across, right? And maybe played for a little while. So again, we understand what you're saying, but the variance is just so high when you're putting all that money out on basically a single number that it could eat up your bankroll real quick. And gosh, if you want to take your argument even further, Jeremy, just say, well, don't play craps because it's a negative EV game, right? That's the best thing to do. Anyway.
Yeah. Mark, there's a lot of factors in play there about deciding if that's a appropriate bet for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Jeremy can say, and this is true, that it is a good bet and that you probably should make that bet before other bets. But how much you want to put on that bet, like you said, will determine variance in the long run, right?
Yeah. And, if you had an unlimited bankroll, that's something else, but none of us do.
Right.
And so, yes, you could say it's mathematically correct, but, mathematically correct doesn't mean practically correct, in the real world.
Right.
You could
it's
say
the real world. So what you're getting at basically, Jeremy, is in the multiverse, there's somebody who has unlimited amounts of money and they can always take odds first.
Now, you haven't seen the new Spider-Man. Why are you hooked on the multiverse all of a sudden?
I don't know. I was just driving and thinking about that, Mark.
Okay. All right.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely, Dr. Mike. I'm sure we all understand what you're saying. There's some universe out there in the multiverse where somebody has an unlimited bankroll.
Right.
Not sure how that works, but okay.
Well, it's like Star Trek, right? So if you're in an advanced civilization where there is no money, there is no exchange for necessities, like, you can just have food whenever you want and drink and, do whatever you want. Yeah. Then when you're playing craps, of course, you're taking full odds every time. But because it means nothing. You don't get anything for it. It's just the way you play. Right?
Why do they have a craps game in a universe where they're so advanced that they don't have money? What are you wagering?
Well, you've seen them on Star Trek play poker.
Yeah.
All the time. They're just wagering chips.
All right.
It has no real monetary value. It's just to determine, who's the best player, who got the most chips.
Okay. I generally will let the show go off the rails to a certain point, and I think we're beyond that point now.
Okay.
So let's move on to our next call.
Sounds good.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Anthony from Missouri. I called in about a month ago about my bachelor party in Vegas. Your advice was very well taken with my group, so I do appreciate it. We did some more stadium gaming. We did some lower limit stuff. Bachelor party was good. We went all around, actually. We went on the high roller. We went over to Ellis Island on our first night and played some lower limits there. Taught some of my friends how to do some stuff on the craps table. They were very confused, which makes sense, but I was trying to break down the basics for them and go from there. We went all downtown to Circa. We had a great time. Gambling was okay on the trip for the most part. Beginning was kind of rough and the end was best. Roulette was a hot one. Hit red 16 on my first night there. And then when we were downtown at the Grand, I hit red 19 back-to-back on the table, so that was a pretty awesome thing for our group. Saturday there, went in the high limit room of the Cosmo, hit for 175 on the top dollar machine in the high limit room, and then went with some free play to Park MGM and hit 400 on the Wheel of Fortune. Then, right before bed, I said, you know what, I'm going to go in the high limit room one last time. Went to Wheel of Fortune again and hit $1,000 on a spin on the wheel as well. And I said, I'm going to bed. So it was a great trip. I really do appreciate all of your advice with having the larger group and some non-gamblers. They had fun, and some of them can't wait to go back to Vegas again. So till next time, thanks for all y'all do.
Great. Well, thanks for getting back to us, Anthony. Sounds like it was a really great trip.
Yeah, sounds good. Now, I suppose, do you think the weddings occurred already?
Maybe. Yeah, we actually got this call a little while ago. Well, you never know. Some people have bachelor parties way in advance.
Yeah,
So-
some people do it a few days before.
Right. I went to one that was the night before. That's always a little risky, but there you go.
Yeah, that is very risky. Well, anyway, congratulations, Anthony, on your trip and your upcoming nuptials.
Yes, congratulations. All right, let's hear from our good friend Kevin.
Hey guys, Kevin from Wisconsin. You two are the best. I can't say enough about what great content you guys have for a degenerate like me. I think you connect so well with your followers / fellow gamblers. Anyway, welcome back from Biloxi. I'll be in Vegas while you guys are taping. In the meantime, be sure to eat the sherbet and don't bet on the LSU baseball team. Since you really let voicemails, emails, and tweets drive the show, I want to ask you guys a couple questions. Some are gambling related, while others are not. You can dispose of this if you think it's too corny. Dr. Mike can attest I'm pretty ridiculous anyway. If you could select only one of the two, do you play the dark side or just not play at all? Again, those are the only two choices you have. Next, you have a very limited number of comps at a casino. Any casino, your choice. If you only have the choice of these three, what do you take? Room credit, food credit, or free show tickets? Mark, where have you had the best Long Island iced tea? And next, I will judge you on your answer on this one. Any thoughts on Fat Burger? That's half the reason I go to Vegas. It's even better that the receipt calls your double cheeseburger order a, quote, large fat. Do you guys ever use the cum? And finally, suppose the two of you got into a big fight. Mark, would you rather fight a Dr. Mike-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized Dr. Mikes? Dr. Mike, same question for you, except Mark is the chicken, of course. Anyway, take care, guys. Thanks so much for all you do. I really appreciate the show. Bye-bye.
All right. Excellent questions, Kevin. Let's kind of go in reverse order. I'll start. I actually had to think about this a little bit, but I think I would rather fight a Dr. Mike-sized chicken because then it's just one. I could probably knock you over. I don't know. Chickens are pretty scary. They start pecking you. But if there were 100 Dr. Mikes all around me, I don't know. You're pretty.
But they're chicken sized, Mark.
They're chicken sized Dr. Mikes, but 100? I could see him kind of overwhelming.
You can just kick them.
Yeah.
It's like in the second Star Trek movie with the new crew, Beyond, Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
Remember at the beginning, there's those little guys attacking
Well, yeah,
them?
I guess so. I mean, maybe I'd change my answer. Yeah, because a Dr. Mike-sized chicken, yeah, he could be
That'd
pretty
be scary.
Yeah. All right, I will change my answer then. 100 chicken-sized Dr. Mikes. Yeah, could I just kick you out of the way? And
Right,
and
right.
again, you're kind of slow moving now these days anyway. So, okay,
Very
that's my
slow.
answer. How about your answer?
Well, you're faster moving, so I'm still going with 100 chicken-sized marks.
Okay. Okay,
Because that'd still be easier than, one big mark. I mean, you're almost as big as me. I can't just fall on you.
well, it's not one big mark, it's a mark-sized chicken.
Yeah,
Right? So that's what's scary.
A chicken that's as big as you?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, no.
yeah, it'd be like the chicken on Family Guy. It'd be
Right,
way too scary.
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Way too scary and almost prehistoric.
Yeah, right. Okay, very good. Moving backwards here. Well, okay, if you're going to judge us, Kevin, I'll be honest. I've never been to Fat Burger. Mike?
Neither have I.
Yeah.
Neither have
So
I.
there you go. We don't have an opinion because we've never been. And that's probably the worst answer we could have given. He was going to judge us. And now he's going to judge us pretty harshly there.
Harshly. Yeah. Well, and I do like, though, that he said they call it a double fat.
Oh, that's great.
I mean,
it's a large fat. The double cheeseburger is a large fat, is what he said.
A large fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right up my alley, actually. I don't know why I
Would you
haven't been
consider
there.
yourself large or just fat? Oh, I'm a large fat. Yeah. Whenever I ask for a T-shirt, do you have any large fat?
How about a T-shirt that says "Go large fat and you'll never go back"?
Okay. Get on that, Dr. Mike. All right, best Long Island iced tea I've ever had. I'm going to limit it to comped iced teas that I've had at casinos. The best one I ever had was at Venetian. Yeah. I remember going there and just kind of being overwhelmed, like, wow, this is actually a good drink. And I wasn't in the high limit room or anything. So
I actually remember that.
So
Now that you say it, I remember you just talking about how good it was. How, wow, this is like something you get at a nice place.
So there you go. All right.
Okay.
Mike, so comps, room, food, or show? What's most important to you?
Well, room.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got to have somewhere to rest, to sleep a little bit, few hours.
Yeah, getting as far as getting comped goes, yeah, absolutely room for me too. I mean, I know.
How much am I going to spend on food? Really?
Right. Yeah, and we move around so much. Show is going to be last for either one of us, of course. Yeah.
Right. I could care less about that. But yeah, the room, I guess, would be the clincher. Now, if he had added free play on there.
Right. Mm-hmm. If he'd added free play, it would have been free play for me too.
It would have been free play. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. All right. Your two choices. Only play the dark side or never play craps at all. What are you doing?
Probably never playing craps at all.
Okay.
It would just be too boring for me. Yeah. I'd have to go somewhere else where I could have more entertainment.
Okay. And probably not surprisingly, dark side for me. You know, I could do that certainly for the rest of my life. I'd be a little disappointed.
Well, how often would you go, though?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You know, would I play as much? No. So,
yeah. I mean, if I walked into a casino, they said, well, you can only play the dark side or any other game here. I might play the dark side for a few minutes, but I'd get bored and I'd be off. I'd go to blackjack and play $200 a hand or something
to mimic the action that you're getting at if you've been playing your regular way at the craps table.
Or I'd go play Pai Gow.
Yeah.
Actually, I hate to say this, but this is true. In the last few years, I have kind of grown an affinity for the slot machines.
Interesting that you'd said that. And Anthony was talking about on his bachelor party, hitting a bunch of good slots.
Yeah.
All right. So has your brother been an influence on you in that respect, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think my brother's an influence in that respect in some ways, because when I've gone with him somewhere and he's playing, I generally, sit there for a while and watch, and it's kind of intriguing. And then I play a little bit myself. So that might be my second most favorite thing at a casino.
Wow. Okay. So you heard it here first, folks. Yeah.
Pai Gow and Baccarat would be like tie for third.
Baccarat? You didn't play any Baccarat on this trip to Biloxi.
I have in the past.
When's the last time you played Baccarat? I can't believe you just listed Baccarat ahead of blackjack. Not that, you rushed to the blackjack table, but when's the last time you played?
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I bet it's been 20 years or more.
Mark, I'd say 150 pounds ago.
Okay. That's a good indication. I concur with that assessment.
I'd say 150 pounds ago.
All right. Well, Kevin, again, thank you for those excellent questions. All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Zach from Minnesota. I went to that casino that had that double up blackjack that I sent you the email about, and Dr. Mike would be proud of me because I saw a $5 craps table and I completely forgot about that blackjack game. And Dr. Mike would also be proud of me because I was tipping the dealers so well, I made a joke to the box about getting a hotel room so I wouldn't have to drive a scary mountain road back to Colorado Springs. He's like, sure, I'll do that. You've been taking good care of my crew. So hope you guys have a good time in Biloxi. I'm enjoying my time so far in Colorado Springs. Have a good one. Bye.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Zach.
All right.
So
Zach.
He went specifically to play this double up blackjack, but ended up not playing it. He told us about this a little while ago. Let me talk about this briefly because it is kind of interesting. So in double up blackjack, you can double your wager by placing an additional bet equal to your original wager in the double up circle. It's not a double down. It's just a doubling of your bet. So if you've been dealt a 20 and the dealer is showing a 6, that would be a time to double your bet, right?
Right.
Now, the way that the casino maintains their edge is if the dealer has exactly 16, they stop. They don't hit anymore. And all wagers are a push, except for 21s, which get paid. But otherwise,
before the dealer exposes, maybe, or
well, it's any 21, right? So it's not before. 21. Yeah, it's not just blackjack. It's any 21. Yeah.
So if someone hit to 21, they get paid as well.
Right. Exactly. Well, unless the dealer hits to 21 as well. Right. But the point is, if the dealer gets to 16, even if it's a soft 16. They don't take any more cards and everything is a push. And the other rule, too, is that the double up wager loses on a tie. Not the original wager, just the additional double up wager that you make loses on a tie. So that's how they kind of have their edge. So I don't know, kind of an interesting game. Again, it's not a double down. It's just, you've got a really good hand. Can you double? So, and I don't think you can do it on blackjacks, right? You just get paid the 3-2 or whatever it is. So anyway, that's double up blackjack. Keep an eye out for that at your local casino.
I'm glad to hear that I've had an influence on the great state of Minnesota since I've been here.
What are you talking about? Because of Zach?
Because Zach, he went so far to play that game, and then he just didn't play it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah, we got to get to Colorado, too. You were talking about Harris Cherokee. Colorado's another good location, too. So
yeah, and I'm hoping Zach and his wife, and I don't know if their children went, but I'm hoping that they went for another reason besides just that casino. Hey, let's drive out to Colorado.
Okay. All right, next call.
Hey guys, this is Andrew up near LA. I'm currently driving home from Hollywood Park Casino where I just finished a $100 poker tournament. Got to the final table and we decided to make a deal to split the prize pool. What I wondered is, I don't remember if it's ever come up on your show about the concept of making a deal at the end of a poker tournament and the sort of etiquette of that. I've been to some casinos where you split the prize pool evenly no matter what, but most casinos I've been to, it's sort of based on relative stack sizes. But another question I sort of wondered is, at what strata of tournament does that sort of go away? Because I know, like, at the main event of the World Series of Poker, they're not going to be chopping the prize pool at the end. So at what point does that stop happening? Or is that an option and they just don't do it at the World Series of Poker because no one wants to? Anyway, love the show, guys. Thanks for the content. Catch you next time.
Yeah, I don't know that there's an actual point, like a money amount, entry fee tournament where you wouldn't have any deals. I think deals are available. Yeah, they could even happen at the World Series of Poker. But again, you're talking about so much money. And plus, when you're talking about high levels like that, it could be that some of the players have other people that have bought a piece of them, right? So it's not just all their money that they would be winning at the end. It just gets pretty complicated. So you don't see deals at that point. But
I think mostly that's the reason, like at the World Series of Poker.
Yeah. So, maybe less in really big tournaments like that. But, oh gosh, yeah. If you're talking about just tournaments at your local casino or just, a tournament that just goes a day, the casino actually encourages deals because they want to finish up that tournament and get you back to the regular tables, whether it's poker where they're taking a rake or some of the other table games where they're making a lot more money. So what it comes down to is, does everyone at the table want to make a deal? And this comes down to etiquette and personal choice. There have been times where I've been on a table and there's just one guy who, no deal. Everybody else wants to make a deal, but he says no. So, it just continues on. I would say that you definitely don't want to make a deal where the money is distributed evenly. Yeah, that's great for the guy who's currently in last place, but it's terrible for the person who has the biggest chip stack. What they usually use is something called the independent chip model. It's a mathematical model used to approximately calculate a player's overall equity in the tournament. And this is based on stack size, not just the amount, but relative to other people's stack size, where you rank, say there are 9 players at the table, 1 through 9 total. And there are plenty of calculators online where you just input all this information and it comes back with, based on the prize pool, how the money should be distributed. And that's the most common, I think the most fair way to do it. But yeah, as far as where do you get to a point where deals aren't made, deals can be made in any level tournament. And it might even be a deal that's made in private as opposed to something that the casino figures out for you and distributes the money that way.
What do you think about deals in general? I mean, are you more apt to make a deal in, say, any kind of tournament? I don't care if it's, World Series of Poker or, some people playing at their house. Or would you rather play the game to its conclusion?
Well, sometimes deals are made, but then they continue to play. Right. So, even at the World Series, let's say you get down to a final table, one of the lesser events, say maybe, $1,500 entry fee. There could be a deal that's made, but they want to continue to play to see who gets the bracelet, right?
Yeah.
So, the money's already distributed, but, you want to keep going. When it comes to deals, I'm always willing to make a deal, not only because I'm probably getting tired and I'm not going to be playing my best poker, maybe on that final table. And again, as you lose people on a final table, the dynamics of the game change pretty much, right? When you're in a big tournament, you've been playing at full tables the whole time, and then suddenly you get to this situation where every time you lose a person, you've got to kind of change the way you play, right? Because there are fewer people at the table.
Yeah, all the way down to the final two, and then it's a whole different game.
It's much different. So, plus, I kind of like to be amenable to what everybody else wants to do. It's like, oh, yeah, you want to make a deal? Yeah, that's fine, sure.
Yeah, that's me. If people wanted to make a deal, I would say, okay, fine, let's just make a deal. But if someone didn't, I would have no problem with that either.
Yeah, that's the thing is you have to respect people's decision. If they don't want to, that's the case. And if you don't like it, maybe karmically they'll end up going out sooner than they thought they were going to. And you get some satisfaction there. But no, honestly, you should, it's up to everybody. If they want to make a deal, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, the guy who doesn't want to make a deal is thinking in his head, I can beat these people, whoever on the table, because I'm a better player.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So it'd be nice to beat him, right?
Of course.
There's 3 people left. He finishes third. Fine, no deal. And then the final 2 make a deal.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a good question. We haven't really talked about that before in the independent chip model. ICM, you'll hear it. People just say ICM. So, but that's very common, especially in little small tournaments. So.
Well, yeah, and in a little small tournament for a small amount of money, who wants to sit there for another hour and a half?
Well, that's what it comes down to, right?
Back and
how
forth,
long do you?
Right? It's like.
All right, next call.
Hi, Mark, Dr. Mike, new listener to the podcast. I really enjoy what you guys do. This is Scott from South Carolina. I'm guessing you saw the story from the Cosmo about the sliding of the dice, cheating on the roll to win. They're alleging players cheated the casino out of over $200,000 with sliding the dice. And I was just curious if that's a black and white issue when it comes to being criminally prosecuted. I understand there's things that the casino can, refuse your business for, card counting, maybe other types of cheating where they back you off or trespass you. But when does it become a criminal issue, and is that a black and white law? So just thought maybe you could touch on that and educate us on that. Thanks a lot. Love the show. Bye.
Okay, good. Yeah, good questions. Let's start by talking about this scandal that happened at the Cosmopolitan. So 4 suspects were recently arrested on charges of dice sliding on a roll-to-win table at Cosmopolitan in November and December of 2021. So this actually happened a little while ago, but they were just recently arrested. They won over $225,000. Now, again, the roll-to-win tables are those tables that have kind of like an acrylic surface. You make your bets on a monitor, and there's just one dealer who enters the rolls into a computer, and it's all electronic. And it is easier to slide dice on that, I don't know if it's really acrylic, but it's that smooth kind of plastic-like surface. It's much easier to slide dice than on a traditional felt table. And the dice slide, it's not like they just take 2 dice and just slide them all the way across the table. Instead, what they're doing is the person is skilled enough that they throw one die that actually does go and hits the back wall, and then they slide the other die. And the die that they're sliding, they know what the value is going to be on that. So maybe they've set it to a 6. So now all of a sudden, numbers that don't have a 6 as one of the dice for their total can't be rolled. And numbers that do have a 6 as one of the dice, well, they're going to come up more frequently than they normally would on a random roll. So, for example, a 12. Maybe you know you're going to slide a 6, so bet on the 12. You have a 1 in 6 chance of a 12 coming up, as opposed to a 1 in 36 chance, right?
Correct.
Go online and just do a Google on dice sliding. I don't know if they have footage from this particular situation, but I know you'll see some examples of cheating that happened. It was either at Wynn or Bellagio, and you can kind of see it. It's a little hard to catch, and that's another reason why it's easier to do on a roll-to-win table is you've only got one dealer watching. There aren't a lot of dealers who can catch this thing.
And there's no boxman ever.
Yeah, right. That's it. It's just the one dealer. Yeah, there's a pit
Yeah.
that's walking around, but they're not watching every roll. And again, this is why roll to win has been kind of controversial and they're getting rid of them. And again, this happened in late 2021, probably before they added those little ridges into the table. Now, they've got those ridges there, so you really can't slide dice anymore. It would hit the ridge and bounce over like that. So, but anyway, Scott's question comes to, all right, what is cheating? What's black and white? Is it illegal? Here's something that is black and white. Cheating, at least in Nevada, is illegal, period. It's a Category C felony. They take it very seriously. That's for cheating. Now, we want to emphasize that counting cards is not cheating. That's also black and white, right? Yes, they can kick you out of the casino. They can do all sorts of things, shuffle up, that kind of thing, but it is not cheating. Okay, so what constitutes cheating? That's not quite as clear. However, there are some things that are absolutely cheating. Past posting is cheating. When you add money to a winning bet that's already been resolved. Colluding with a dealer is cheating. Maybe they pay you more than you were supposed to do, or they deal seconds from the deck, things like that. Something like using a hidden camera to see the values of cards as they come out of a shoe is cheating. Usually if you're using some kind of electronic device to get an edge, that's cheating. And of course, sliding dice is cheating. Now, what about the case of Phil Ivey, where he was using edge sorting to win at Baccarat? Now, to us, and I think to the gambling community, that's not cheating, because he wasn't even touching the cards. He made a deal with the casino that, rotate these cards 180 degrees, and don't rotate these cards. And the casino said, okay. Well, of course, the casino came back and said, you're cheating. To us, that's not cheating. But again, that becomes kind of the gray area there.
That case is very complicated because there's more to it than just somebody trying to get an advantage. I mean, the casino actually agreed to what he asked.
Oh, yeah. He was a high roller. It's like, of course, Mr. Ivey
They
will
wanted
accommodate
him
you.
there to draw people as well as, get his money, right?
Yeah. Now, casinos may only kick you out if it's a minor cheating offense, but they don't want to press charges. But they could. If it's cheating, they absolutely could have you arrested and press charges. So hopefully that answers your question, Scott.
Yeah. I mean, I can see where dice sliding would be illegal because you're changing the whole game, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, anything that changes the whole game should be illegal. Things that, like card counting, for instance, that's just you using your mind.
Yeah, right. You
haven't changed the workings of the game.
No.
So to speak.
Right.
But when you change the workings of the game by using an electronic device or kind of manipulating things so that you have an edge, that is cheating.
Yep.
I don't know why the designers of the roll to win games didn't from the very beginning think about putting like dimples in, at least the middle portion of the table.
Yeah, I mean, they just didn't anticipate this kind of thing. And plus, since there's only one dealer, some of the cheating that's happened at these roll to win tables is collusion with the dealer. The dealer entering in a wrong number, right? Not the dice roll, but something that favors a player, things like that. So, yeah.
The easiest way to cheat, obviously, in any game is to be in collusion with the dealer.
Oh, right. And that is maybe the biggest problem that casinos face are, the dealers
and that's
cheating.
why they're always watching the dealers and stuff.
All right. On our last episode, we were talking about casinos on cruises, and listener John has a little more information.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Mike. It's John from Boston. Hope all's well for you, too. Glad to hear big trip in Biloxi. Just back from a week at the Cove at Atlantis, but the reason why I'm calling is when I was just listening to your pod, you're talking about cruise ship gambling personnel. I've taken maybe a dozen or more Norwegian Cruise Line cruises, and I can assure you that all of the gambling personnel, from the dealers to the pit bosses to the shift managers, that's all they do. Gambling personnel, at least on Norwegian, they don't do anything else. Obviously, cocktail servers could serve drinks in the casino one day and then be up on the Lido deck that night, or vice versa. And as far as eye in the sky, they actually have a pretty significant surveillance crew predicated upon. I know one time I was playing Paigo, and there was an issue as to whether or not somebody was underpaid. They were able to go back relatively quick, rewind the tapes. And the other little tidbit is Norwegian's gambling, at least up until a couple of years ago, was probably at the forefront in the cruise ship industry, as the owner of Norwegian was also the owner of Caesars. It was the same venture cap firm, and they did a lot of cross-marketing as far as trips and the like. But anyway, glad you guys had fun in Biloxi, even though it was not profitable. I'll call you back in a little while and tell you about the Atlantis craps. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, John. So there you go, Mike. At least on Norwegian, when it comes to casino personnel, that's their dedicated job. They're not doing other things on the boat.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That makes sense on the cruise line's end. You know, I mean, they don't want any collusion, right, Mark? You're bartending and you're flirting with some girl thinking, you know, maybe this will lead to something. And then, you know, you see her in the casino you're dealing. Well, of course, you might want her to be happy and win.
All right.
You know what I mean? It'd be easy if you're working other jobs to get friendly with people.
All right. Well, I think I may understand what you're saying, but this is a great lead-in for William's call. Let's have a listen.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is William from Fort Worth. It's been a little while since I've called in, but I had to call in immediately. I haven't even finished the episode. But when Dr. Mike, he's gone on a lot of crazy rants over the years, but the ridiculosity of his cruise ship backwall craps rant, editorial, I don't even know what to call that. That was insane, and it's probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. That cruise ships care more about dice sliding than a regular casino. I mean, on a cruise ship, you're probably there for a week. Could be your last night, I get it. But land-based casinos, as Mark was saying, you could be in and out in that quickly, so they would care more about that. Anyway, that's 3 minutes I'm never going to get back in my life. So I hope he's not completely losing it in Minnesota. I get it. Anyway, on another note, I hope this gets addressed later in the episode. I haven't finished the episode. Surely the Crap Vegas claim by one of them, was it Chris or Josh? I get them confused because they're brothers, that an attorney is just as much of a doctor as a dentist. I was like, yeah, okay. So I ran that by a friend of mine. My best friend's an invasive radiologist. He deals with images and surgeries on bodies daily. And he said, yeah, absolutely. A dentist is completely knockoff doctor, but it's way more of a doctor than an attorney. Those aren't even comparable. One of them has to know a lot about bodies. If something's wrong with you, I challenge you to go to the dentist to handle it or go to an attorney to handle what's going on with your body. If you need somebody to take the ballpoint stuff out of a pen and shove it and give you a trach, you want it to be an attorney or a dentist. I think your chances are way better with dentist. Anyway, I just had to address that. Hopefully this gets addressed later in the episode, but I had to call it immediately. Take care, guys. Love y'all. Bye.
All right. Thanks, William. Now, Dr. Mike, I know that your whole professional life, you've probably gotten a lot of grief being a dentist as, oh, he's not a real doctor. Oh, is it that kind of thing. But I'm sure that you went through a significant amount of medical training.
A significant amount.
Yeah.
The first 2 years of dental school, besides learning about the mouth, all the rest is the same exact classes that medical students get.
Yeah.
And the anatomy lab and stuff is the same. And for William's information, you cannot do a tracheotomy with a pin. That's only a surgical procedure done in a hospital. When you use the pin to blow into someone, that's called a coniotomy.
Ah, okay. So like we've seen on TV where they hollow out a... Okay.
And it's actually fairly difficult to do.
I'm sure.
It's not as simple as that.
All right. Attorneys certainly would have been able to tell us that, Dr. Mike.
Well, I'm sure maybe. Depends on what kind of attorney you are.
I guess so.
If I was going to have an attorney do my health care, at least I would take a medical malpractice attorney, not a tax attorney.
Oh, well, okay, there you go. So certain attorneys, who specialize in that. And again, I'm sure the Crap Vegas guys weren't completely serious. But yeah, there you go.
I'll tell you a quick story. There's a dentist/attorney who works for TDIC, which is the dentist insurance company based out of California. They do medical malpractice policies, right? So he lectures for them, and he actually went to the same dental school I did. And then after he became a dentist, decided he wanted to be an attorney.
Wow.
Went to law school, became an attorney, and then got this job defending malpractice suits for the company. So he's on the dentist side. So he knew both, right? And he did represent a lot of people, and he could tell you what they did wrong. And,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Stuff like that. So there's a little crossover in some cases.
Okay. All right. Well, very good.
Also, I'd like to say that if William ever needs those 3 minutes back, he can certainly come to Minnesota. I'll take him down to Jima and Joe and give him the best 3 minutes of his gambling life.
Oh, I'm so glad you qualified it at the end with gambling life. It scared me for a second.
Life.
Yeah. Meeting him down there.
Well, I couldn't say the best 3 minutes of just his life.
Yeah, good.
I mean, I could say close to the best, but I couldn't say the
good
best.
qualification. Well, as listeners of the previous episode know, I was also getting flummoxed by Dr. Mike, and as he continued to go on about cruise ships. But here's something interesting. So listener Eamon was playing at Live Casino in Philadelphia, and at one point was told by the pit boss that he had to hit the back wall because it was the regulation. And when you hear that, we've heard stuff like that before. What regulation? What are you talking about? Okay, it might be a casino policy, but a regulation, come on. Well, Eamon decided to look up the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board's regulations, and hitting the back wall is in there. I'm going to read a little bit of it here. The shooter shall throw the 2 selected dice so that they leave the shooter's hand simultaneously and in a manner which causes the dice to strike the end of the table farthest from the shooter. And it goes on to say, a roll of the dice shall be invalid when either or both of the dice go off the table or when one die comes to rest on top of the other. Okay, so that's pretty standard. But here's the real kicker here. It says, dealers shall have the authority to invalidate a roll of the dice by calling no roll for any of the following reasons. 1, the dice do not leave the shooter's hand simultaneously. We've all done it where, one goes fine and for some reason you've still got the other one.
Drops right in front
of
you.
And that's pretty standard. They'll just say no roll. Number 2, either or both of the dice fail to strike the end of the table farthest from the shooter. So, there you go. And then just for completeness, some of the other things, either or both of the dice come to rest on the chips constituting the craps bank of chips located in front of the box person. And that's standard too. We've talked about that. If it lands in the bank, it's a no roll. And number 4, either or both of the dice come to rest in the dice cup in front of the craps stick person. So there you go. I'm not crazy about the wording, how it says the dealers shall have the authority to invalidate a roll. That almost sounds like it's optional. And that might not be what the regulations were intending. But anyway, since hitting the back wall is in this list, it seems like it should be black or white, right? It's just, okay, doesn't hit the back wall, it's a no roll. I think what it really comes down to is how do the personnel handle dice not hitting the back wall? Are they obnoxious about it? Are they yelling at you? Are they saying things like, we're going to make you pass the dice if you don't hit the back wall? Or is it just, no roll, and they're a little bit better about it? I understand it's going to depend on how chronic it is with a person rolling. But again, we all fail to hit the back wall at some point, right? And it's not because we're not trying. There are many reasons why. So it really comes down to how does the personnel handle it? I know they want a fast game. They want to keep things moving, but they've got to be pleasant about it.
Yeah, that's true. You're talking about this, and I'm thinking about NFL referees and pass interference plays. It really is just a judgment call. If they feel like, this guy's not really, doing this on purpose, give him a few warnings. And then, now if they felt he was really trying not to do it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. A judgment call on whether somebody is intentionally trying to not hit the back wall. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
We've seen it handicapped people. We've seen older people, a new person who's never thrown dice before or whatever. Yeah, they're not intentionally trying to miss that back wall.
What is a good example, Mike? I know people may not know who she is, but Ri Hong, one of the players up at Harris, Southern California, she's very small, and it is a little hard for her to hit the back wall. So she really chucks them. And a couple times I've heard the box or the floor say, "Come on, Rehong, don't do this or don't do that." And I'm thinking, she's she's just trying to roll the dice.
Yeah,
We
right.
all know her. We all, she's trying to. She's not doing anything tricky. And plus, there are cards involved. Give her a break.
Right. Yeah, that was the extreme example.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they always tell me? I've had quite a few times people tell me don't hit the glass.
Oh, sure.
Because you know where I like to stand, and I like to throw it in that corner down there and see them bounce around.
Yeah.
And I'm not really trying to hit the glass.
Right. And we're talking about glass. People may not know there are these mirrors on the table that help the stick person in particular call rolls where maybe he wouldn't be able to see both dice by just looking at the table, but the mirrors help. So, yeah, it's kind of on the inside there.
Yeah, and it's for the dealers to see bets and stuff and watch things. But I never try to hit them, but I do quite often.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, they'll say, please don't hit the mirror with the dice.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the mirror damaged.
Right.
So, and I perfectly understand that. And then I have to really concentrate not to hit that. So.
Yeah. All right. Last call.
Hi, this is Logan from Hawaii. Just got back from Vegas. I got an offer for a slot tournament. First time playing, didn't place in the top 5. I got some casino credit money for playing the game, put in a slot machine, got a hand pay. I played mostly craps at the table, and I've been noticing that the Vegas strip casinos, the tables are a lot colder than I expected. And then when the tables did heat up, the waitress comes around and says it out. So after going through the ups and downs of playing craps, I turned my head and I seen the roulette table with that little bar and shoot all the numbers, and then looked to my left and then I saw the baccarat table with a display and all the numbers. And I was thinking, why didn't somebody invent a light up arrow switch for a crap table? It would illuminate either left arrow or right arrow in the direction the waitress is walking towards the table. And then the shooter can put the dice back in the center and says, okay, stick man, hold the dice so the waitress pass. Waitress pass, get the dice, roll it. I know it's not very reasonable to do that, but in my opinion, gamblers are very suspicious and they believe the waitress come around and 7 out. The waitress could easily wear one of those RFD tags, and then when it gets in range of the arrow sign, it illuminates either we're just coming from the left side or the right side. The shooter just pays attention to what the waitress says, and then, okay, stick man, dice back in the middle, I'll wait. Just wanted to share that because you guys said you're going to open up your guys' little casino at some point. Maybe you guys could have that arrow light up station at your guys' crap tables. Thank you.
All right, love Logan's calls. Yeah, some kind of display to let you know, oh, the cocktail surfer's almost here, or she's coming around that corner. She's over there. Oh my gosh! Yeah, have a GPS device on them.
If you're doing that for the superstitious people who think a 7 out's coming when the cocktail waitress walks by, then you got to do it you'd have to have a big old light up sign up there, cooler approaching.
Big display, right? Dice went off the table.
Yeah,
right.
Here comes your dad. Stuff like that.
Stick change.
Yeah. Stick change.
All the things. Player arguing with dealer.
Right, exactly.
Just that it should be. That's what we'll have. It's going to be comprehensive, a big display. Here's reasons why you should either send the dice back to the middle or call your bets off. Here's the current list.
Right. As he's talking, I just sent you, Mark, a text message of a picture of a stoplight. Take a second and look at that real quick.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. I'll try to remember to post that to the website with the show notes, too. So, there you go.
That's the kind of sign they need right in the middle of the casino.
Yeah,
right?
it's just a ridiculously complicated traffic light with lights facing all sorts of different directions. Oh, my God.
It's actually a statue overseas or something. But I just love that picture because it's like, that's how life is. That's what you need.
The box person at our casino is going to be so busy with everything that they're going to be needing to type in, that we're going to keep track of rolls, why people should call their bets off.
Yeah, just Harry's walking up. Everyone turn their bets off till he buys in. I think how long that takes.
I think we're gonna have 2 box. That's what it's gonna come down to. The table's gonna be extra long. We're gonna have 2 box persons there. So.
How about like a table like the size of the long bar in the D? Just some big, huge, long table. Hit the end, please. Hit the end.
Every time. We haven't had a roll in 90 minutes. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for the voicemails. Keep them coming. It gives us content, and it makes Adam Bauer happy. So,
yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. Jeremy at the Color Up YouTube channel, James, Kurt, and Robin from NE Time Gambling. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from listener Don, going to Vegas from June 7th through the 13th for WSOP Gladiators of Poker Tournament. I will channel Mark, and that should help me make a deep run. All right, well, good luck. You're probably playing that right now, right, as we're recording this. So hopefully it's going well for you, Don. And also a donation from our buddy Kevin. Thanks for the shows. Thank you very much, Kevin. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings and our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. What do you got, Dr. Mike?
Well, I'm still thinking about William and using up 3 minutes of his life.
Oh my God. When I got that call, I was laughing, and Sherry and the kids could hear it from the kitchen, just laughing. Because I feel your pain, William. I lived through that in real time, and I had to edit it down. You should have heard the full version.
Well, somewhere, William, in the multiverse, there's a Dr. Mike who's succinct and to the point and
rational.
Rational, has his head's in the right place. Somewhere in the multiverse, somewhere. I don't know. I will not be gambling for a few weeks here, Mark.
Okay, so, why is that?
Yeah. Well, I had another fall again yesterday.
Really? Yeah. Oh, gosh. Oh.
Yep. Both of my ankles are all messed up.
Oh, gosh.
And my legs are all messed up. So as we're doing this, I'm sitting here with like several different kinds of braces on my legs.
Oh, my gosh. Oh.
So I will not, probably be getting out down to Diamond Joe for a couple of weeks, but hopefully in a couple of weeks it'll heal up. And
okay, yeah, good.
I'll be able to get down there.
A speedy recovery. You may have gotten this email. Our buddy Dave is putting on his poker tournament. You know, he tries to do it once or twice a year. You had to decline since you live in Minnesota now.
Yeah.
But that's coming up this Friday, so I'll say hi to everybody for you and let you know how it goes.
I was looking at it thinking, God, I'd love to go to that. Yeah. So anyway, if you go, good luck. And that's always kind of a fun tournament.
Agreed. Yeah, he puts on a great tournament. Yeah.
Yeah. Very organized.
Yes.
That's what I like. Yeah.
All right. Well, feel better, Dr. Mike. And to everyone out there, thanks for listening.
Thank you. Good night.
I'm so excited. Did you see the ring? Oh, my God. I can't wait to tell my parents I'm marrying a doctor.
He's a dentist.
But it doesn't matter. The invitation will still read Doctor and Mrs. What's his last name?